So, for the next couple of days in across the United States, we're going to be having scattered to numerous severe weather and flooding outbreaks across areas that have received multiple inches of rain and already have seen severe weather damage. And we are going to be talking about that again in today's video and also keeping up with the hurricane tracks in and across the Atlantic and Pacific. And we're going to be talking about heat related and drought related weather across this video as well. Stay tuned to hear more about that. So for today, August 14th, 2026, we are going to be having a scattered risk of severe weather in and across areas of southern Iowa, northern Missouri, and to northwestern Illinois. In areas around the yellow could have a up to a 15% chance, or what I would say scattered risk of severe weather in general. We also do have a very large 5% that extends all the way from the plains through the Midwest into Ohio River Valley into the East Coast, anywhere within the dark green, up to a isolated risk or a 5% chance of any type of severe weather. For today, the biggest risk, August 14th, is going to really just be the wind risk, which we do have a, again, 15% chance of, slight risk, scattered risk anywhere within the yellow, 5% chance anywhere within the brown and across the country. Then next thing we'll have to talk about is the tornado risk, which we do have a very, very small 5% chance of within southern Iowa, anywhere within the brown here. So a couple of tornadoes could be at least expected across anywhere of portions of Iowa or Missouri, even into Illinois. We also do have that 2% extending across the whole southern bit of Iowa, northern Missouri, into northwestern Illinois. Then for the hail risk, probably not going to be mostly a problem at all. Could have hail maybe up to quarter size, but probably going to be less to maybe up to half inch in any of these areas in the brown, whether you're in eastern Colorado or southern Iowa. Going into August 15th, 2026, we have a slight or a scattered risk of severe weather. Any areas within eastern Colorado or the panhandle of Nebraska or western Nebraska. And then over here in the Ohio River Valley, all the way down here into the Piedmont, where we could have a scattered risk of severe weather anywhere within the yellow. Going on for the biggest risk this day is going to be the wind risk, which we do have that 15% chance anywhere again within the yellow. We're here into the Ohio River Valley from Indiana, Ohio, down to the Piedmont, the Carolinas. Could see some scattered wind risk events going to occur, with some winds mostly going to be at 60, possibly with one or two reaching 70 miles an hour. And going on, we have a 15% hail threat, really just for, again, eastern Colorado and western Nebraska for the most part. Could have hail up to a quarter, maybe even up to ping pong, 1.5 inches up to possible. And then for the tornado threat, it's just going to be an isolated 2% over here in around southern Michigan, northern Indiana, and central to western Ohio for the most part. Could I see that there could be a 2% over here in eastern Colorado? Without a doubt, I think we could see one, and I think there should be one because there are going to be a lot of discrete supercells over here as I show you into the models. Then for August 16th, so far there is just a marginal risk or an isolated risk that I would call of severe weather for any areas in the dark green, whether it's over here in the western plains or from coming from the Ozarks through the Ohio River Valley to the mid-Atlantic onto the East Coast. Could be keeping an eye on this over the next couple of days. Same thing with the probabilistic, they don't have it up to a 15, it's just a 5 so far. Then talking about flash flooding. For today, August 14th, 2026, we have a moderate risk or a numerous risk, I would say, of flash flooding for areas anywhere within southeastern Iowa or north central Illinois. Also for, I would say, some portions of northern Missouri as well. Numerous for any areas within the red here. And then for the slight risk, we have a scattered chance of flash flooding anywhere from the Midwest going into the Appalachians for this day, for today. We also have two slight risk areas here for northeastern Colorado, including Denver, and also over here areas around northern Arizona and southern Utah, areas especially where rainfall is needed, but not too much rain, could be needed for areas in and around here. For tomorrow, August 15th, we have two areas of slight risk over here for the Midwest to the Appalachians. And then over here, again, in eastern Colorado to Kansas or Nebraska, anywhere within the yellow. Most, I would say, if Colorado is included, as I know it kind of shows it in here, but I would say that for the most part, all of Colorado, or all of Denver, rather, should be in this instead of just half of it. Again, over here, this will include areas like Chicago, Cincinnati, Columbus, Cleveland, maybe into most portions of at least Pittsburgh for the most part for tomorrow. For the 16th, still areas in eastern Colorado and New Mexico are going to be under that slight risk. So, flooding over the next couple of days for especially areas in eastern Colorado or even moving into the mid Atlantic areas, and again in West Virginia or even Pennsylvania or Maryland already have been hit with several rounds of rain so far earlier this week and could get hit again with more rounds of rain and severe weather too. I will be showing you in the model here within the next moments. But then this light risk will just be going from, western Pennsylvania to West Virginia into the East Coast states of New Jersey, Delaware, as well as Maryland. Now, what I am showing you here is one of the most trusted models that I at least use for my weather predictions. And as we can see, this is the HRRR12Z model, or around the 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time model. And we could see that over a couple of hours, we have a lot of rain already moving through Iowa and Illinois, as well as Indiana. As this kind of moves through the evening, it may get a little quiet for the most part. The 7 a.m. model is a little bit outdated, so this could change depending on locations. But for the best so far right now, we could see that we could have a lot of rain start to move through into very early Saturday morning across Illinois and Indiana. Kind of moving into through the morning, we could start to see that rain starts to go through Illinois, Indiana, into Ohio. As this kind of moves through, it may be a little bit quicker than expected. Could have some rounds now move through Ohio into western Pennsylvania and West Virginia. Then we could see that, at least that the model extends to, which is 48 hours, we could see that we will start to see more rounds start to move into the same exact area once again, which is going to create only for more problems of flooding for areas that have already seen a bunch of rain. Like I know some areas over here in Indiana, east of Indianapolis, have received almost 20 inches of rain. And they are probably going to be expecting at least another 4 inches, making their total up to 2 feet of rain for a whole week. So areas who have already at least received like 6 inches of rain have to beware of weather across the next couple of days anywhere within the Ohio River Valley, because we've seen so much rain already fallen. At the total precipitation of this event, we could see that some areas in Illinois here, it shows up to 8 inches possible. I do find this is a little outdated, so I don't think this is actually going to be true at all. But I would definitely say a swath of a good 1 to 3 inches anywhere across areas near the Ohio River. But as we could go north in between, say, Chicago and Indianapolis, could get a lot more of swaths of 2 to 4 to even localized areas getting up to 6 inches of rainfall possible. I don't think 8 inches is the right number, but I would say definitely 6 inches for most is definitely possible for any of these areas between Chicago and Indiana over next 2 to 3 days. Now I will be showing the HRRR 7 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time model, which is the best model so far for at least 48 hours. As you can see so far, showing off for today, Friday, August 14th, temperatures probably in around Kansas and Oklahoma could reach up to 105 in areas, especially like localized areas where it could be flatter or even valleys possible. I know there aren't much valleys, but especially with like even little like tiny valleys that could be 30 feet could be within a temperature difference of 1 to 2 degrees Fahrenheit possible. And also, as you can see, we could have up to 105. Really, any areas that you see that are white is at least 90 degrees. If you see any areas with this like kind of like light gray tint, at least 100 degrees. And we can see a lot of that all across the plains here, as well as the Ozarks. Going kind of in through the night, we can see that a lot of locations are still going to be in the 80s. So even overnight relief, not going to be very much at all. So probably AC's on for at least the whole day and the whole night. Going into tomorrow, we can see that tomorrow just gets even worse, which we see a lot of areas still going up to 105. We even could have some areas go up to like 107 degrees, which could be much of an increase, especially even depending on the wind chill slash heat index, which I will be about to show you here over here in the tab section. We can see going on, I'll let this model load, but as you can see going on, that the heat index most likely will remain. I don't know why it still shows like 80, but definitely some areas could get up to at least 110 Fahrenheit, by the way. And this is for heat index. So this is what it would feel like to the human body. And we could see that going on, that it's still like even overnight still have a lot of 80s going in here. And then going even into just tomorrow, August 15th, still going to have some areas up to 110 degrees possible, at least what it feels like. And then the overnight relief, again, even through tomorrow night, is still going to be in the 80s for a lot of these regions, anywhere within the pink or white, especially around the plains and Ozarks. Especially a lot of the south too, where any areas have excessive heat warnings or heat advisories. That'll be the end of my weather forecasting video. So if you guys like the weather content that I do, that will be impacting millions of people, consider liking and subscribing and sharing with people, as it does help me and does support me throughout a future career, obviously. As we do see over here in the south real quick, any areas within the pink, any of these counties, especially across like the Mississippi Valley too. Definitely going to be the hottest temperatures. Anywhere within the orange is the advisory, so probably I would say within the orange, probably up to 105 heat index. And then areas in the pink could be up to 110 heat index, just real quickly, by the way. We also do have this flood watches going across, again, central southern Iowa, northern Illinois, into central Indiana. Also have some over here in the Appalachians, too, for eastern Kentucky and West Virginia. Just talking about that real side quickly. But anyways, if you guys do, consider liking or subscribing or even sharing, as it does support me. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.